All right, welcome in to a very black Tuesday for some of us. Clayton, good to see you. Coming
Yeah,
in.
it's good to be here.
Um, how was this weekend for you?
It's wonderful. It was great. I think it's the first week I went 2-0. Patriots pulled off a very close victory as well. So just couldn't be happier right now. Just, smiling ear to ear.
Yeah, I'm in the opposite boat over here. Chiefs lost 0-2. We'll get to it. But yeah, good to talk to everybody. Welcome into week 10. Been a good season so far. I guess we're past our halfway point for fantasy now, but getting to about the other side of the halfway point for the regular season. So a lot to be known at this point of the year, and let's get right into it. All right. So we're gonna do our normal check-in on the standings for a Tuesday show. And like I said, had a tough week this week. It's first time not being atop the standings for a good month at least. I think doesn't feel great. Tied with Lucas for the best record now, but he does have a bit of an edge on me in points. So congratulations to him for climbing up. We've known his team has been good this year. Um, but yeah, uh, beyond that, there was some more movement around the edge of the playoff spots. Sam lost his spot for the moment to Cub.
Yeah, Cub or Joey. I mean, they're both 8 and 10 right now. Joey continues to just be flying up the standings after all of his moves, so good on him. I think that 5, 6, 7, or the 5, 6 spot, I think is going to be very competitive. I think Sam and myself both have a chance at it, and then obviously, Cub and Joey have
Yep.
control of it. I will say, I think it'll be tough for me and Sam to take those spots away from them. I really like Joey's team right now, and um, I I like Cubs team as well. So, but it is nice that there is some sort of playoff race going on right now, and it's not just the top and the bottom.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten tighter. And within the groupings that we kind of talked about the last time, the top has gotten tight, the bottom has gotten tight with a lot. So, and then to check in on some of the things that we mentioned at the beginning of the year with the projections of standings and what those look like now. At least from ESPN, we've had my team move up quite a bit. So I initially was projected to finish eighth, and now it's at two. It had been at one again for a while, but this week they had to drop me down. That's all right. Lucas was also not projected to be near the top, but he is now at number one, so he moved up four spots. Oh no, that's Joey. I'm sorry, I got that mixed up. Joey has moved up four spots since all of his moves, and then Lucas has moved up one spot, so he actually was projected to be pretty good even at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
So ESPN did get a little bit of something right.
Yep. And then I, along with Scott, are the two teams that are, they had higher and then now we're lower by 4 spots each, and then Casey from 1 to 3, but still, I mean, you can't look too far at that. 1 to 3 is not a
Right.
big jump, but I will say 4 to 8 and 6 to 10 is a huge jump backwards. So two things ESPN definitely got wrong.
From playoffs to out, yeah, that makes a big jump. Other than that, yeah, Tanner moved down one spot. Bo moved up a spot, so they've moved him up a little bit since the beginning of the year, 10 and 9. Um, but then Clay's got the fancy subscriptions to uh, these other folks. We get to see these angles from a couple of people. So this is Fantasy Pros.
Yeah, this is Fantasy Pros, and on the left side you'll see what they view rest of the season rankings. I believe they tend to take the top team and make them 100, and then like relative every
Scale
other team
everything up.
to them. So they have Lucas way out in front of everybody else, and then Ryan with, I would say, quite a big jump against the next handful, and then it kind of puts, Joey, Tanner, Casey, me, Cub, all pretty close there. Then
Crazy
around
that
in the
Joey's at 3 in that one.
Yeah, 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 definitely. I think, his team right now, if you look at the last couple of weeks since the trade, I mean, he's been balling. So I don't even disagree with it too much there. And then on the right, you'll see kind of the projected records, standings, playoff odds, championship odds. It gives Lucas the best at 32, you the second best at 24. It looks like you, Lucas, and Casey pretty much have the playoffs locked up.
Yep.
And then it kind of thinks Tanner, Joey, and Cub are pretty set in stone there, but it does give me a slight edge over Sam to make the playoffs potentially. I mean, still less than 50%, but me at 35 there and Sam at 23, even though I think right now Sam is ahead of me by a game. So,
Yeah, one game
um,
better.
yeah, just interesting stuff to see. Obviously, from the beginning of the year to now, we know both those sides have been wrong. You know,
I know
almost
this
pretty
one
much.
had me at 10th.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember that
definitely,
very clearly to start the
definitely
year.
had you pretty low, had me pretty high, and so obviously big switches there. So
Yeah.
just interesting to see.
Yeah, the computers and the math nerds, they say things from time to time. Sometimes they're right. They're guessing just like the rest of us are, just with a little bit of math behind it.
Yeah,
Um,
I will say, to me, I would have liked to see a healthier squad throughout the season. I do think my team would have been higher up, but you you have to play with what you're dealt, and right now I'm just kind of hoping I can just steal a spot away from somebody.
and then once you're in the playoffs, you never know what can happen. You know,
Exactly.
any anyone can win one week to week. So you fight for those spots, and then you just see who gets hot. All right. Well, let's talk about some of the hot matchups from this week, which actually were not all that interesting besides one game. So starting with Bo and Casey, you and I both picked Casey, won by 53 points. So not a particularly close game. Um, Went off the back of Justin Herbert and Devontae Adams and the return of Rico Dowdle.
Yeah, Dowdle is just, I mean, he's got to be one of the biggest surprises of the year. And it just is amazing to me that he is performing at the level he is. But good on Casey, one of the better pickups probably in the league right now.
For
I
free.
mean, yeah,
A free
yeah.
pickup.
How could he not be? So, he's the running back number 9 right now, and that includes the
He's only
slow start
played
when he
like 3 games for real.
yeah, that includes the slow start where he was getting like 3 and 6 touches a game. So, crazy to see that, but that Rams offense is, cooking.
Yep.
I think in the group chat, we were talking about Stafford as a potential MVP candidate. So, Devontae Adams is reaping the rewards there. I will say Casey did lose Tucker Kraft for the season
Who had
this
been
week.
a monster.
Yep.
Yeah, that was big. And then on both sides, he got a big week from Stafford, but besides that, it's a lot of 3, 4 points here and there. 11 and 12 from his two receivers who are not his normal starters. So that's not bad plays for guys that more or less are kind of borderline waiver guys. But it sucks to see that from Jahmyr Gibbs, only putting up 5 points against a Minnesota defense that hadn't been great lately. Um, Especially in a game that they were kind of playing from behind from for quite a while. And he definitely has more of a role when they're playing from behind as the pass catching back there. So just disappointed to see there. And then we know Bo had some bye week issues this week, so the rest of the team not as surprising.
Yeah, I will say, I did have Josh Downs on my team before this week, and to see him get 9 targets and a touchdown, I mean, he's been putting together good weeks, but wide receiver just wasn't a weakness for me. Running back continues to be a question mark for me, so I was kind of throwing some darts at some running backs this week, but kind of sad Josh Downs is no longer on the squad. Um, Someone that just kind of surprises me is Kamara. I mean, he had 7 touches. I mean, there's not a lot of people on that offense I'd want to give the ball to, but he is a guy I would give the ball to. So interesting stuff there. And then yeah, I'll highlight Jahmyr Gibbs like you did. I mean, they're losing and he only gets, 3 receptions. So um, just interesting to see a game that I definitely thought the Lions were gonna win, but Minnesota with the upset there and kind of hurt Bo this week for sure.
And just as a little side note on this Minnesota game, me and Clayton had some investment in it. We're in a losers pool, um, and we play together so that we can have better odds. It's like a survivor, but you pick a loser every week instead of a winner. And right now, my mom is the only person left out of our little group of four. And we had all decided, you know what, we got to pick Minnesota this week. Uh, Easily the best option. They should get destroyed by the Lions. McCarthy's coming back. He's hasn't looked good when he did play. Now he's coming off an injury. And she forgot to put her pick in. And that means you get the luck of the draw pick, which ended up being the Cowboys last night in the Monday night game. And then lo and behold, Minnesota wins and was the majority pick on the week. I think 15 or 20 people picked them.
15.
And 15. Yeah. They're all out. And we get to stay because shout out Trina, I forgot to put the pick in. So
Yeah. Trina with the most clutch move possible puts us at a fairly good shot at the money, which,
yeah.
shout out her and shout out to Kobe Brisket,
Right?
the old
Coming
New England
back.
quarterback, Kobe Brisket. That's what I like to call him, obviously Brissett. I think he's getting the starting gig now, which is good for him. I never didn't like him as a Patriot, so easy guy to root for me. And I was rooting for him, on my phone on Gamecast because of the stupid ESPN YouTube TV BS that just absolutely drives me nuts. But enough with that. Let's move on to the next matchup.
Next game. Lucas and Sam, another one that was not much of a nail biter. We both picked Lucas after the good start he got off to on Thursday night, and then it just really continued. And this is what drove him. So Lucas and I now have the same record, but he did edge me out in points because of this big week compared to what we will see in a bit. He did that off the back of some really good starts. So he threw Jackson Dart in there instead of Jalen Hurts. I think he had someone else in earlier in the week. So that change ended up really good for him. McCaffrey continues to just dominate and get 25, 30 touches a game and do a lot with them. And then Drake London scoring 3 touchdowns for the Falcons in that game against New England. They couldn't run the ball very well. And Drake London, every time they got down to the goal line, it seemed like they were just looking for him. So he had a great game, and Lucas had a great week.
Yeah, I mean, I watched every snap of that New England Falcons game, and we did hold Bijan under 50 yards again to keep the streak alive. I didn't think Bijan got enough carries, in my opinion, but I'm not the Falcons offensive coordinator, so that's on them. But I will say, Drake London looked like a stud. He mossed Christian Gonzalez pretty big and had a couple really nice touchdown catches, had the hat trick in touchdown. So good for him. Looked like a beast. I was like, why aren't we like quadruple covering this guy at this point? I don't even know the names of their other wide receivers. So there's that. And then I like Christian McCaffrey again. I know you already did, but he had 28 carries. Only averaged 3.8 yards, but 28 carries for the man. Glad to see he's staying healthy this year, which is good. Moving over to Sam's side, you know, I kind of thought maybe Tracy was gonna do more with the Scatterboo injury, but I mean, I honestly thought Singletary looked like the better back there. Um,
Puka came
Michael
back,
Pittman, Michael
and
Pittman and Puka did do good. I think Puka got hurt in that game, but is I think he's supposed to play this week. Um, so his wide receivers continue to perform, but Tracy with a disappointing week. Um, Jags D with only two against the Raiders team that
Had
isn't the
been
most high
awful.
flying offense there. So you know just tough there. Dak with only 16. A lot of times I can see 20 out of the quarterback, but Arizona played him pretty good. And then I will highlight, he had the Steelers in. I think we kind of said that would have been an interesting start, and the Steelers put up 20 points on his bench. So,
Like you
interesting
said,
stuff
anything
there.
can happen.
If he would have started the Steelers, he would have been 1-1 this week instead of 0-2, which right now is pretty big.
Right.
But again, I don't know how you started defense against that Indy offense right now. They're just, they've been balling. So just interesting stuff to look at.
Yeah, they were humming. Alrighty, we have to get to it. My game,
Yeah, tough,
this
tough
just,
week.
oh, just this turd that got laid in week 9 by me was awful. By far my lowest point total of the year, I think by about 30 points. Um, and really no bright spots to be had. Patrick played terrible, especially for fantasy. The 3 touchdowns that they did score were all ran in by somebody. Jonathan Taylor and Bijan Robinson had less carries combined and less yards than Kyle Monangai, which for running backs who were up each averaging 20 plus points coming into the week was very disappointing to see. Brian Thomas got hurt in the game, and I took T. Higgins out, who dropped 30 on my bench about 20 minutes before that game started. So just, poor management. I think everyone was kind of, we had a big emotional game last week with Scadaboo getting hurt and Jonathan Taylor pulling us to another victory. And, this was kind of the emotional letdown spot. And we're going to get past it.
Yeah, I'm gonna highlight Cubs team real quick. I mean, Josh Allen with a huge win against Kansas City after he'd kind of laid not fantasy eggs, but in terms of the NFL eggs, I mean, the loss to New England was not too pretty. I mean, still scored 21 fantasy points in that game. And then the loss to the Falcons looked absolutely awful. And fantasy-wise, was not that pretty, only scoring 17. I know he had Carolina after those two, but I mean, come on, it's the Panthers. I mean, if you're not
Off a
performing
bye
good
week.
against the
Yeah.
Panthers, yeah, you shouldn't even be in someone's lineup. So, but I will say, like against New England and then against Atlanta, he had kind of some not so great weeks, and then did pull up against what I consider a very good Chiefs defense. Put up 28, three total touchdowns. I mean, very efficient throwing the football, 23 26. So shout out Josh Allen, and then I mean you already said it, but Kyle Monangai absolutely breaks out this week. 26 carries, 176 yards. Um, adds three receptions for 22 yards. Didn't even get into the end zone and still put up 23 points. So huge week for him. And those are the two leaders there for Cub this week.
The only bright spot about this is I've been saying that DeAndre Swift is not a good football player and will will lose his job. I don't know if I said it on the show, but I told either you or Tanner that DeAndre Swift was going to lose his job, and that just might be the case because my nun guy looked way better than DeAndre Swift. And
Yeah, I will highlight, I'll give you one more bright spot on your team. Marvin Harrison. And I know we
the other
always
guy on
say
my bench.
Marvin Harrison, but I honestly think after last week, I saw the separation in the red zone. He made some big catches. Obviously, I saw this all on Twitter, so I'm looking at just the highlights. So maybe I'm looking at it, not the right eye, but I saw the separation on the little slant route in the red zone. He looked good, and then Brissett giving him 10 targets. I mean, who knows?
I
Who
will
knows?
say I hope Brissett stays in. I hope they don't bring Kyler back because I don't think Kyler can see him behind the line. Alrighty. Well, good game, Cub. I'll be hope to see you in the playoffs where I can smoke you. All right, on to your game. I'll let you start.
Yep. I didn't pick myself because I have a new theory that when I pick myself, my team does not perform. So, um, picked Scott, but got the 2 wins this week, just barely. Kind of in that game. I was kind of competing there with
Scott
Tanner a
and
little bit, but Sam mostly. Dak threw an interception, I think, late that kind of helped, and then I think Bam Knight got like 2 more yards when I needed him to, or maybe it was CD got one more catch or something. So I mean, it was a 4 point difference there, but a big change in the standings. But I didn't have a solid week by any means. Like 91 points, to get 2 wins there is kind of lucky. Bam Night was very disappointing for me. It was nice to have both wide receivers, Lamb and Brown. I mean, they performed pretty decent. Chase Brown seems to be back with Flacco at the helm. He gave him, like 10 targets. I think he had 8 receptions, so that was good to see. And then Henderson, I mean, he got his touches, 18 touches, 10 points. They didn't get into the end zone. The touchdown carry went to Jennings, which I'm not even that mad about as a Patriots fan. Jennings is running hard and good, so I'm not even that mad about that. And then, bright spot there too on my bench, DJ Moore, just he had a huge week, but again, it was against Cincinnati. I think if you have anybody on your team playing Cincinnati, you should just throw them in. I don't care if it's like your wide receiver five. I think it's just worth it
that
because
defense
I
is
think
awful.
Cincinnati has the world's worst defense.
Yeah, the Bears didn't look much better. I should have kept my Bengals in. And then for Scott, he lost Jaden Daniels again for the third time this season, which sucks to see. And that injury was gruesome and gross looking. So hopefully, it sounded like it was, I say just an elbow dislocation, but it wasn't like a fracture that would have kept him out for the rest of the year, possibly. So he might come back at some point, but an injury riddled season, and if they're sitting at 4-10 by the time he's ready to play again, I don't think we'll see him again much this year. And Scott picked him real early, so that sucks to see. Kyron had a good game against the Saints. You kind of expected that they would be running the ball a bit more, and he got in the end zone. I think he's only sitting at like 3 touchdowns this year. So he kind of brought it back, but then down the lineup from there, it's not much. DK, who Scott traded for, but I believe hates to his core, didn't do anything, which was surprising. I guess the Steelers defense must have handled most of that game. I actually didn't catch a whole lot of it other than watching Jonathan Taylor do nothing. Zach Ertz didn't do much. Keenan Allen was disappointing. So that's how you end up with the 85-point week. Not much else to say there.
Yeah, I will say Kyron has 3 rushing touchdowns. He has 6 total touchdowns. So,
Okay,
um, you
nothing
know,
to shoot through there.
running back 11, so not terrible there. But yeah, I mean, not a good week for DK, and then um, you know, Keenan and just not the bottom of that lineup there just didn't perform too well.
Nope. Alrighty, and then our final game of the week, which again was not very interesting after the morning slate of games, really. Joey versus Tanner. I picked Joey. You had Tanner, so I'll go for the winner here. Uh, Joey, love the return of Brock Bowers for him. I mean, this is what Joey wanted when he picked him in the early third round this year. Comes back after the bye week and the knee injury, gets 3 touchdowns, 38 points, looks like a monster again, and made the Raiders offense look functional against what had been a good Jaguars defense up to this point. And then got good chip in contributions from Genty on that same offense, James Cook, and Jackson Smith and Jigba, who is, I think, on pace for 2,000 yards this year.
Yeah, he's close. Yeah, he's got 948 right now, so he might have dipped slightly below.
But they've had a bye week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so yeah, on pace for right around 2000, which is absolutely crazy. But yeah, huge week. Just everybody on Joey's team besides Patriots defense did
Yeah.
okay. I mean, Daniel Jones 15 is kind of disappointing, but I'll move on to Tanner's team. I kind of picked him after Lamar's big 29-point week. Um, and I just really like Tanner's matchups for the most part. But Javonte Williams kind of disappointing there. And then, Rome on today against Cincinnati with zero, I guess
I guess you
technically
were
what I
wrong
just said.
about that.
Yeah. I
Throwing you.
I very, very interesting, I guess. I slap in the face after what I just said, I guess. But kind of crazy he didn't have a catch in that game because they had 47 points. I know Loveland and DJ Moore had big weeks there, and then Monungai, who we already talked about. But um,
Caleb had two more catches than him. I'm pretty sure Caleb had two.
yeah, I think because Caleb had a touchdown catch, and then I think he had a different one. So
He did.
yeah, that's kind of crazy. Um,
That Ben
I'm tr-
Johnson trick play offense coming into play.
yeah.
And
Then
then a just
Berg, who's
ugly
been
Cowboys game is
Yeah,
what
yeah,
really.
yeah. Ugly Cowboys game, and that I mean that hurts Tanner when you have the Cowboys team get you 21 when you have three players that sucks. Especially like Ferg, he's been tight end number one, and um, to only get five sucks. Just offense just didn't look very good.
And I think both Javante and Ferguson had a fumble from what I remember. Um, and just, yeah, a dud. A big dud.
Done.
And that is kind of the story of the week for a lot of us this week, other than Joey, Casey, and Lucas. Kind of duds,
Yep.
but some people ended up winners despite it.
I thought throw Cub in there at one
Oh,
118.
Cub had a good game. Okay, yep,
Yeah,
sorry. Forgot about Cub.
Cub in there at 118 is a good week.
Yep, agreed. Alrighty, and to recap the picks. So Clayton went 2-3 this week. I had a nice 4-1 week. Only missed out on my own game there. Clayton, you did say that you were picking against yourself to, kind of have a win-win situation, whether you wanted fantasy or didn't. So you got the what I would consider the better win.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the better win. I guess I'm a little mad about the Tanner and Joey pick. In my head, I was thinking Joey all week, and then I saw Lamar put up 29, and I was like, all right, we'll switch it. Um, so kind of mad about that one. Not mad about my own game, and then I mean, I don't know if anybody can blame me for you picking you. I mean, your team's been absolutely unreal. So
Yeah.
just mad about the Tanner Joey one at this point. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I'll have to get back at it because I'm down 6 games right now.
Widened the gap a little bit again. I'm feeling more comfortable. So I guess now I've got my little bit of consolation from this is the only spot I feel like I did anything useful this week. So, alrighty. Well, with that, let's wrap it up. Say goodbye to week 10. I'm ready to get out of week 9 and get started on week 10. We'll have waivers run tonight, and me and Clayton will be back again on either Thursday or Friday to chat, see what goes on during the weeks, and preview the next week 10 matchups. Chiefs are on
Yes,
bye.
sir.
I'm pretty sad about it.
Yeah, I got some bye issues this week too with Lamb and Chase Brown, and I gotta beat Cub this week, and I think he's got a pretty much a full roster, so
Yeah.
gonna have to get creative there and maybe a little lucky, because that has big playoff implications.
Now, this is where the management comes in. You got to dig deep and see what you can do.
Yes, sir.
All right, gentlemen. Well, good to talk to you. We'll have another show coming in a couple days, and we'll get right back to it. All right. Later, play dog.
See you, Joe.